back. Episode 7.5, apparently. We're live with Klassik the Poet. We're here in Skeeze Studios. What's poppin', King?
What's going on? What's going on?
Yo, before we even got off on camera, we was just chopping it up, and he was telling me about the new year. So, King, tell us, how's the new year treating you so far?
The new year is treating me well. I've been going into it with a really just clear mind. Like I told you, like when we was off camera, like I spent time with family for the holidays, spent almost 2 weeks with them, just like focusing on the things that's mostly important. Like it's easy in this business for us to get caught up in whatever we got doing, and it's like easy for us to kind of like miss certain moments, whether it's like, you know, your little siblings like having a football game, or if like certain people got kids, you know, just literally like your kids growing up, or like you know, spending time with your parents, you know, whatever relationship y'all got, y'all grandparents, you know, and just, you know, time is always moving, it's fleeting. Before you know it, it's gone. So you gotta like, in the midst of like that grind, I just want to make sure that I take time to reset my mind on who I am and like who I am outside of what I do.
Outside of music and everything.
Yeah, word.
So, is that any resolution for the year?
Not really a resolution that I set. Just kind of continue to do what I did last year, and like, you know, my biggest thing, what I stand on as a person, is just focusing inward. Just being a better person, you know what I'm saying? Not even just a better artist. That's gonna come with being a better person, but focusing inward and not expecting like exterior forces to give you happiness or validation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We in the world, Skeeze. I just feel like a lot of us, you know,
niggas don't live on morals no more.
You know, and you know, I'm not nobody that's trying to be preachy or telling everybody this is what you do. Like, you know, I don't have my own things going on, but I'm saying that's why I say focus inward. You focus every day on being the best you that you can be, that energy is gonna rub off. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm coming with a mindset that is just like, yo, I'm holding myself accountable, I'm doing what I gotta do to be a better man every day, and I come and talk to a person like you, and you like, you know what, I'm doing that too. I'm focusing inward, and it's like a ripple effect. Instead of telling people, yo, you gotta do this, you gotta make sure.
I live by my 3 cardinal rules. Yo, if you genuine, you gonna live a long time. If niggas is not fucking with you, hit the deuce and live on. And I'd rather be 20 minutes late and smell good than be on time and looking like shit. Because first impressions mean everything.
Word.
That's my shit.
Word.
But other than that, what's up with life, music, you know, parents, anything coming up, projects? Talk to us.
Well, y'all caught me at a perfect time. My project actually comes out February 3rd. I don't even know when this is gonna air. So
family, yo, exclusive. I be telling y'all.
When it airs, just if this is out by the time this airs, then Save a Dance for Me is out right now.
Yo, Save a Dance, go get it.
Yes, sir. Save a Dance for Me. That's the title of the tape. It's coming out February 3rd. It's 10 tracks. Okay. So that's what I've been working on musically. I've been working on this project for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. It was supposed to come out like back in the summertime, but I just wanted to make sure everything was right. You know, I had 2 singles that I dropped in September with a video. So, like, just to make sure that I, like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Nah, yeah, I
You know,
that.
When it comes to, like, getting my art done. So, like, just to buy myself more time and making sure that my output is what I feel is acceptable to people who support me.
Facts.
You know, we ran with that. So, I've been doing that and just, like, you know what I mean? Just focusing, just staying level-headed, staying not too high, not too low.
What type of music you're about to give the fans? You know, what type of headspace were you in during this project?
Very much like a soundscape headspace. So, like, for the first time, I think on this project, there's a lot of, like, moments in the project that I'm just letting the music play. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting shit kind of, like, breathe in ways I never did before. I feel like, personally, within my journey, you know, I still have a long way to go. You know, there's a lot of people who got to get introduced to me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm nobody, like, crazy big at the moment. But I do think, personally, I don't have nothing left to prove in terms of, like, you know, I feel like a lot of artists, including myself, you know, had a certain chip on their shoulder, especially coming from where I come from, where you kind of have this chip on your shoulder because, you know, New York City look at Westchester kind of like a...
That's not the boroughs.
It's like a stepchild. So, like, you know, I gotta rap extra hard. I gotta let people know that my metaphors is tight and this, that, and the third. And, you know, I still gives it up. But it's more so like I'm very much comfortable and mature in my path, in the lane that I've created. You know, I'm in this almost 8 years deep. So, like, my 10,000 hours is almost here in terms of, like...
Yeah, your 5,000 shots is in.
Yeah, it's almost in, you know, in terms of, like... what I gotta get done, how I gotta do it. Just it's a lot of clarity, and with that clarity means when I get on records, it's almost like second nature now, as opposed to me feeling like I got something to prove to people.
So you feel like your pen game matured during this album?
I feel like my pen game matured because like my mind matured. You know what I mean? I feel like I confronted a lot of like truths about myself, and when that registers onto your artwork, you don't hold nothing back. You're not putting on no type of facade or no character. Like all this is just genuine. It's straight genuine. So if you feel like you gotta let the record breathe, because like for some reason like the feeling of what you're saying is just like, I gotta like let people sit on that. Then that's what I'm doing more so than like, I gotta fill this up with an extra bar to impress people. And it's just like,
I feel that.
Yeah.
Anybody particular you were listening to during that time just to get into that like real headspace? Because I know like SZA dropped the album. Brent had dropped the album previously, I think like a year or two maybe ago. Yeah. And
I wouldn't say like SZA's really recent. I think Save a Dance for Me was already done by the time I think SZA dropped. I think like, there's people like Brent Fires. I worked on this tape for like 2 years, so there was like a whole span of people within that time frame. It's like, you know what I mean? A lot of these, some of these records that I wrote, like I penned these records maybe like at the height of the pandemic 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it is like I can't even like dig deep on.
Also,
like
you were in that type of headspace during the pandemic.
I want to say this album is a culmination of our first like 3 years of this decade right now. So you know what I mean? I had dropped an album during the pandemic. I dropped Contradiction 2 years ago. But even before Contradiction dropped, like I was already penning down joints that would end up becoming Save a Dance for Me records. So like it was almost working on 2 albums at once. Now realizing I'm working on 2 albums at once, just some was already put out, and then others I was like, well, I can circle back on these records that I was working on.
This album.
Yeah, to go, make this joint. So, I'm an old soul. So like I'm like I'll listen to just like straight jazz music, no lyrics, no nothing. Listen to Sade. I feel like I gravitate musically to like peaceful sounding music. It like comes with almost like a peaceful aesthetic, because I get the environment that we in, like I love all types of music, but I think that as rappers, we kind of like steer away from like what we do when it's time to get inspiration. And when we get inspiration from a certain place, we take it back to our environments. So you could be a drill rapper, but if you listen into somebody like Stevie Wonder, you might hear an element to Stevie Wonder that you apply to a drill song that has never been done before, and now you just kind of create your own sublane within the drill scene. You know what I'm saying? So like I try and like listen to things that people wouldn't think I would normally listen to, and apply it to my craft.
That's real like rap shit, because a lot of like real, I'm not gonna say real rappers, but a lot of lyrical rappers, they'll take it back to like Aretha Franklin,
Marvin Gaye, like
all these type of rappers. I mean, all these type of jazz and musicians. Like
Miles Davis, like you go down the list, like fucking what's son's name? Trumpet dude, Wynton Marsalis. Like you be listening to certain.
What's his pianist?
Ray Charles. We said Stevie, right?
Yeah. Damn. Is it Ray Charles? It might be Ray Charles.
There's 2 famous blind people that we know that play the piano, right? Ray Charles
and Stevie
Wonder, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's about it, right? I think it's Ray Charles then, or Stevie. Is either or, but yeah,
probably.
Word. So like, I tend to gravitate to stuff like that.
But going back, let's take it all the way back, because where's your story from? I know you said Westchester.
I'm specifically from White Plains, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved around a couple times as a kid, so I'm pretty well rounded around Westchester as a whole, and even like parts of the city and stuff like that. But White Plains is where I was from, like for real. Graduate high school, pretty much born and raised. Like like my backyard homies, like a lot of like my from the soil homies that's still with me now is from that area. So.
Copy. So. I know Jadakiss and all these type of rappers definitely was big influence. Like, who else besides Jada and
for me, like I'm a big Jay-Z
fan.
There's Kendrick Lamar. Me and him actually share the same birthday, like 10 years apart.
Kendrick is my favorite rapper, greatest rapper of our generation. Just want to put that out there.
I feel that way too.
Yo, You're in the back, and I'm telling you, Kendrick is the greatest rapper of our generation.
Well, he don't think that or something?
Yo, he swears that Kendrick is dirt.
Listen, I ain't gonna say nothing about that. But I'm gonna say that is not my MO with it.
Who's your top 3?
My top 3? Damn.
Of this generation.
Of this generation? Of this generation. What year are we talking about now? You gotta remember, we in 2023, so like even when you say this generation, like I'm 25, so you gotta remember we
I'm
a little
24.
bit. So we a little bit past like the prime era now.
Well, they're Cole?
Jermaine Cole.
Yo, bro,
I mean, our era, our top 3, it is Drake, Cole, Kendrick. Like in our specific coming of age years, it's shit. Those 3. I would say that's the general consensus. I would say.
But how you take off Kendrick?
Who you replacing that with?
Yeah, please.
Meek.
Future.
I've heard people say that though. I've heard people say it. Future did a lot for the culture. I ain't gonna front.
I feel that.
I ain't gonna front. But I feel where you coming from as well.
Nah, I feel that. But where you feel like your music is in this, generation? Because we talking about Kendrick, J. Cole.
I feel like my music in this generation is one that may not necessarily get like picked up on immediately because it's outside of like the norm. I feel like my music is very much outside of the status quo purposefully. I like do things outside of like what I feel like is the overall like theme of a certain generation. So I think that I have records that people, we're gonna have certain people that click onto it now. I rock with this. This is a breath of fresh air, stuff that I've heard before. But I also feel like I'm not surprised if this is something people pick up on a couple months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, like for real, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
I mean, music does sit well. Like, I didn't personally hear the freestyle until late, and once I heard the freestyle, I was like, damn, yo, he could spit.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, you just got. I mean, what was you about to ask?
I was about to say, like, we're all this like bent up. I feel like it was bent up anger, just like spewing out.
No, I don't even say it's pent up anger. I would say it's just like, it's not every day I go up to a place like Sway and do a freestyle. So when I do, I kind of like take it like this is my first and last time doing something like this. You know what I mean? So I give it all I got, more say. So you hearing a more intense like.
I thought it was more of, yo, I'm finally here. Like, yo,
it's a little bit of that.
Now y'all gotta see. It's
a little bit of that because what's the funny thing about that particular one? Like, I have I've been in the Sirius XM Shade 45 studio a few times now, right? And every time I was in there, from the moment I first went in there, it was like, yo, it's only a matter of time before like I find my way into a Sway segment. Like, I almost knew it was coming, and I didn't know when it was gonna come, but I was like, when it does come, I'm gonna give it my all. So what you probably felt was definitely that. It's like, I am finally here. I'm standing right behind here. I'm gonna give this all I need to give it, because you just don't know. You know what I mean? Your first time could be your last time. Like, you're only as good as your last performance. So if that was the last time I ended up on Sway, then I was gonna go all out. But if that was my first time, I'm gonna start with a bang. Like,
that's a fact. In terms of albums, you feel like you've been doing the same thing? You've just been progressing, and you're gonna go out with a bang?
I always feel like not doing the same thing. I always feel like I switch it up in a particular way. I think the overall theme of who I am and the values that I set as an artist kind of stay consistent. I think the style changes. So I think that from Before Things Get Weird, which is my first tape, to Contradiction, there's a distinct different, like, they're two different projects. You don't really hear anything on Contradiction that you can go back and be like, yo, this kind of sounds like this on Before Things Get Weird. I feel like Save a Dance for Me is no different. I feel like there's nothing really on Save a Dance for Me that you're going to listen to that you'll go back and be like, yo, that sound like when he did this on Before Things Get Weird or Contradiction. So I think I pride myself on that more so.
So you're more the sense like every project you just want.
Every project is a new chapter. It's a new story. I use myself as a vessel for example. I use the world as my muse. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing that's constantly growing is myself. You know what I mean? We could talk about jewels all day. We could talk about money all day. We could talk about cars, whips, women. We could talk about that shit all day. That's fly. We love that shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's always gonna be that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's never gonna necessarily grow the way you growing. It's still gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So like the only thing that's consistently growing is me. So as long as I'm consistently talking about me from the space that I'm in, it's always gonna have the listener who's listening to me, who supports me. Mm-hmm. It's going to keep them on their toes. It's going to keep them more intrigued. It's going to keep them wanting more. If my 3 albums sounded exactly the same way every single time, nobody would care about this 4th album coming out because it's just like, I've heard this before. I've heard this space.
What keeps you motivated? Because I know I was watching a clip of J. Cole, and he says that you get to a point where you feel like you've made it and you're comfortable, and you know you just stop doing it. But then you just gotta find that new passion. You feel like.
Word.
What's your motivation?
I heard that. I actually seen that too. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Well, one for one, I'm not at a level with J. Cole where I have the privilege to kind of like sit there and just kick up my feet. I'm nowhere near that at all. You know what I'm saying? We got the world to take over still. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna keep it real. And I'm sure y'all could feel the same way. As artists, as creators, we not always motivated. That's the thing. There's times in our careers, because we're in such a grueling business, it's very discouraging at times. It's very like, sometimes you wake up and you just kind of be like, yo, what the fuck am I doing this for? I'm putting in all this risk. There's really no reward out of it. You don't really know at the end of the day if you're going to get anything out of it. You lose friendships over this. You lose relationships over this. You be at odds with family over this, all for like a hypothetical life that you want to achieve, you know, like a what if, right? So you're not always motivated, and you know, you kind of do wake up and you just like, man, fuck this. But the key is consistency. That's what separates the goods from the greats. You know what I mean? The 1% of people who do make it in this, they weren't always motivated, but they was consistent. So even on days where I'm just like not always feeling it, like I'll write some shit, or you know what I'm saying, I'll you know, go to the studio or go to somebody else's studio session to just kind of be in the environment to up my juices. But just always making sure I'm doing something every day that is progressing my craft. Even if it's opening up a book, a business book, a music business book, and figuring out how this monopoly of the music game work, and like how you get your bread, and how you know what I'm saying, how you get the type of deals that you want. Even if you read in a chapter that is already doing wonders for your career. You don't always necessarily have to be 100% motivated. That's not realistic as human beings.
One topic that I'm really big on in terms of like people that are creators is mental health, and how you feel like your mental health goes throughout the music. You feel like there are certain parts of your music where you feel like you've ever touched depression, you know, happiness, pure.
Absolutely. I think naturally I am an empath. I'm a very empathic person. I could feel energies very much. So like sometimes I could feel the heaviness of the world. So you'll hear like you'll hear me kind of almost admit like, you know, I'm going through a depression right now. This is how I feel. You know what I mean? This music shit is deeper than just the look of music. I don't like the idea of music. I am music. You know what I mean? So I feel that shit 100% all the time, and I'm gonna give you the most honest version of me. So if me is feeling the happiest motherfucker in the world, you're gonna get a happy motherfucker song. But if I'm feeling angry or mad, you're gonna kind of feel that, and it's a human shit to it. I feel like it's like when we hear that shit, when we upset, we listen to our favorite artists, and they usually have like an aggressive song that kind of gets us through that day. So like I'm never shying away from that.
Like me, when I'm fake being my bag, I be going through my Adele phase.
Yeah, like
I'm a big Adele fan.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. And you know, she is just kind of using herself and her life story as like an example. She's not really, you know, to what we know, not really trying to put on a front or create a fantasy life or sugarcoat anything, because we could feel that as people who listen to music, we could feel when something is real and when it was raw, and then when it's not, when it's a facade, you know.
Right.
Word.
Yo, so Klassik, since we talking about, you know, real music, we have this challenge on this show called the Skeeze Challenge, and it's either you do an unreleased tape, unreleased song, or you do a freestyle. So let's hear some real raw music. It's up to you.
Yes, sir. Well, we got the unreleased joint off my upcoming album, Save a Dance for Me, which drops February 3rd. Yo, and it's funny, Skeeze was talking about mental health too in a very soon, I don't have a date on it, but I did have a book that I self-published that'll be coming out that is also called Sad FM Save a Dance for Me. Look out for that.
Yo,
well,
I'm telling you, exclusive drop shit.
It's exclusive drops.
Yo,
exclusive
Klassik,
drops.
Let's drop this.
Let's drop it.
Exclusive shit?
We're dropping exclusive shit. This is called Soil the Heights off of my upcoming tape, Save a Dance for Me, which comes out February 3rd. Features my boy Huey Briss from out in Long Beach. Shout out to them out there.
Yo, shout out Cali. Let's get this.
Let's rock with it.
Yeah, really I'm a city kid, always on some city shit. Ride with my niggas getting higher than my city rent. Remember we were penny pinch, landlord tripping, man. My lease on life wasn't easy, but we living it. Now we getting Benjamins, probably made it look a breeze. Rudolph wasn't gonna, but he made it big off pushing peas. Cheeto X and Vinci tees, fuck a bitch from overseas. You can get it all in 1 second, cause I got the keys. Never had the chance to fail, my nigga, we had to win. I could lose it all if I was trying to rap with them. I could give a fuck if my record go platinum. Could've been inside the PNC from my lens, writing songs in the garage, arguing with mom. Seem like I'm chasing a mirage, really what's the cause? Trying to get about this dark space.
Y'all coming on my 914.
Trying to pick apart pain.
Straight from the core, I give them my body sweating resilience. Many have tried before, I'm not like those other millions. Day by day niggas, don't get it twisted though. We some save the date niggas, them still your fake niggas. But I strive to find my peace, I strive to thrive in many things with high intensity. The higher power banked on us and then he sent in me to plant my pain into the soil. Now my money tree can feed my seed, they can feed their seeds. Thank you for helping us grow. We've been our own enemies, at least I hope. We glorify violent trope. I speak to them cause I'm a product of just jotting notes. We've always coped when they got
my voice down in Philly.
Listen. Yeah, when it got hot, we packed the spot instead of claiming blocks. Lord knows I wasn't built for that, and got old Kenny knocked. Wanting consumers, but can't let this shit consume us. Celebrity is just a Star Wars, George Lucas. I wrote a poem the other day, it says something like, we all go through things, so one day it goes through us. Can you just stop feeling sorry for yourself? I claim chopping off the noose like more whoop, less Ku Klux. I'll never let a dark day define me as useless. We won't be scared away that easily, get used to us. I make use of my mornings, that's when self-reflection's optimal. Align my values with my goals, nothing is impossible. Same 24, right? Perfect chance to evolve as a person. Pray that I'm a better classic in my next life.
It ain't even over yet.
Nah, yo, this thing is going crazy.
It ain't even over yet. It's got a whole second part to it.
Nah, wait, it's still going?
Yeah, it's still.
I'm gonna play it and then we'll use what we use.
I had to show y'all a good one, like a good album cut off of it, so y'all get a feel of this shit.
Heard the yo, A side, B side.
Morally speaking, I've been defeated, I'm shook. Tug of war with our demons, I often put in my book. All the toxic I'm seeing, it's hard to be understood. Navigating, it's aggravating to get off the hook. My face been tested in ways it's hurting my kin. Severed ties and insecurity stemming within. Got some friends, it ain't my place to say they revel in sin. I could be the devil myself, just look where we been. More pain, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I bet my soul in a dream, a yearning urge to be seen. Vividly, my first album, I asked what did it mean. Haven't found that answer yet, instead I fell in between rocks, hard places, love, rat races. Keeping my head above water, I'm slowly cascading. The people that you love the most can do you dirt the worst. I found myself caught in a funk, questioning my worth. Not the type to quit, I look for ways to make it work. The nerve for me to ever slip, nigga. So in the air will be the only time I trip, nigga. And this shit will be the only thing that gets, nigga. Not a rich nigga, but I'm rich niggas. Don't let that go over heads. I wait until this blows over. Chatter is deadly, my anguish to rest. Put a room in a bed, you can call it assault. In fact, I meant what I said. Heartbreaks in exchange for modesty. Wicked transaction, look at these walking commodities passing. We had a good run, but you knew that we wasn't lasting. My confidence took a hit from our interactions. Part of life is when foresight doesn't materialize yet. I only got my warnings and I give them like bomb threats. I chose a gruesome path where every level is my sex. I walk as if I got it, knowing none of it's mine yet. Man knows what ifs are deadly. I tell y'all love and light so it protects me. I'm a veteran that's moving steadily. I used to press the process heavy. Looking back, I simply wasn't ready. This next chapter, I make sure sure these niggas don't forget me. I write my rights inside, I flex the lefty. Need impartial folks to check me. From higher planes where we can see the petty. I try my best not to indulge, I can't let them get me. For real.
That was tough. That was dead tough.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Klassik Poet, and I'm here at Skeeze Studios. Shout out Tunnel Vision, my boy Eddie Skeeze, the whole team. Y'all the greatest. You know how we rocking. We coming from White Plains, New York, Westchester 914. Klassik out.